What was the do you remember the commercial for Snuggies? Did they have a jingle or slogan or something?
Sure didn't have an Asian guy.
That is true. That was before that time. That is very true.
That was before they existed. Before they existed, yeah.
Asian people just didn't exist back then.
You see, Asians didn't come around until K-pop was invented.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That is true, yeah. We just were just mud before we came out of the mud, before K-pop. It was crazy. Like, we literally were just banging sticks and rocks in huts before we actually got K-pop out there in the world. And like people actually took us seriously. We were doing maths.
Remember that, yeah.
We were doing maths with sticks and rocks. Like that's just how, like, you know, behind we were everyone else, because everyone else had calculators. And then now calculators are like our greatest gifts to our children. And, you know, a foreshadowing of things to come.
Mayhaps they needed something more progressive to go against the Asian stereotype of stoic and you know, hyper intelligent and sciencey and mathy, by saying by saying like, hey, let's shove them into K-pop and have them become the biggest musicians in the world.
Let's also put them on the world stage for League of Legends and kick ass. And also in StarCraft and Overwatch. I was gonna say Counter-Strike, but I think Counter-Strike's more for the Russians. Like, I've only ever seen, stereotypically, just Russians kicking ass in Counter-Strike and like taking it up like very seriously. Like, just the very, you know, just being hyper competitive. Also, guys, I'm sorry ahead of time. Welcome to the Double D experience. I'm congested as fuck. I think everyone is. I think a lot of people probably in your family are probably mad congested, so you're probably hearing a lot of this. So, sorry ahead of time if I sound like I'm dying. I'm not. I was actually feeling a bit shitty like last week, but I'm feeling a little better. I'm just now stuffy nose, and that's it. Fuck, it sucks. It happens every winter. Every winter.
I wish y'all could see Dennis right now.
I look mad comf.
He looks like an inverted pimp.
I look like a pimp if he was sick. It's like, give me my cold pimp coat. And then like it, and he just slips it on. It's mad comfy.
Start playing the Snoop Dogg backward, like ding, 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 ding.
Or, you know, I'm it always reminds me, I only know one, like, I guess fairly known, well-known pimp character, and it's like, a pimp named Slickback.
I knew that's who you were impersonating, yeah.
Cat Williams. He's not dead, right?
I don't think so.
Let me look up. Cat Williams, I love you.
You've got to say the whole thing.
It's like a tribe called Quest. You gotta say the whole thing.
Yeah, and Dennis's audio might sound a little different today because he messed with some settings, so who knows? That snort that he just did, it could just go from sounding like to sounding like fucking like, oh wait, no, I got mad close to the mic. I wonder how that sounded. Alright, so I have
okay, he's alive. 52. I love you, Cat Williams. You're funny, you're a funny man.
Yeah, that man just kind of looks like cocaine, so, you know, I think it's a valid question.
He looks like cocaine, and he also, like, looks like a pimp. He dresses like one sometimes, like on stage, which I'm like, because he wears like that very flamboyant looking ass, like, kind of attire. So I was just kind of like, were you a pimp before? Did you disrespect women? Like, you look like it, Cat Williams. You low-key do. And then did you have like a change of heart and just decided, I'm gonna do comedy now? Because that's how he talks.
Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling. Hustling.
It's a funny looking man.
Hustling. He is, honestly.
He looks like the brother of Snoop Dogg. But like, he just is like that more like high-pitched, like kind of squeaky sounding brother.
He looks like a freaking like reject from the Snoop Dogg documentary.
They're gonna get Cat Williams to play Snoop Dogg in his eventual biopic.
That's I would say that's perfect if their voices weren't polar opposite sides of the spectrum.
Do you remember when Snoop Dogg recently...
Imagine like Cat Williams just goes out and he's like, D to the O to the J to the G.
Do you remember that announcement that Snoop Dogg had last week? Or was it this week, I think? He was like, I quit smoking. And then like it was just like that, like as a picture. And then it turned out to be like that he was just part of some ad. And, you know...
Dennis... Do you want to know what the first thing that came to my mind when I saw that fucking image?
Oh, you actually saw it? Okay.
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter.com.
You mean X?
Currently known as X, formerly known as Twitter. They say that on CNN, by the way. I was watching that like a little last night.
They actually said X?
No, they say X, formerly known as Twitter.
Really?
They say that, yeah, because they legally have to or some shit. And then, like, so they say formerly known as Twitter because they know anybody...
Or Elon's going to come after them.
Yeah, because they know anybody with a fucking brain still calls it Twitter. But, like, you know, that literally no one with a brain calls it X, but whatever. You know Fair. What my very first thought was when I saw the image of Snoop Dogg announcing that he was going to stop smoking weed? You know, you remember that Remember that SpongeBob clip? I give him a week. Oh. I give him 11 minutes.
You know, it was mad funny because everyone was
first thing that came to mind, bro. The first thing. That has to be the biggest fucking publicity stunt of all time. I do not know Snoop Dogg. That man is not capable of stopping smoking weed. Like, full stop, he's not. He actually smokes more weed than probably any man alive. Like, I've seen videos and shit of him smoking with people, and like the people who he's smoking with are like dumbfounded by not only the size of the blunts, which are bigger than my cock, mind you, that I've seen, bigger than this fucking microphone in front of me right now. Mm-hmm. And then he'll just like take the biggest drag of it of all time, and before even continuing to smoke it, passing it on, he has like 3 more inside his jacket, like ready to go. Yeah. And so he's like punching the blunts like he's at a fucking folk festival, and the blunts are the size of like a fucking chupacabra. And there's like, that's just video of him like casually smoking. That man can't stop smoking weed. I'm sorry, I don't know Snoop Dogg, so maybe it's like rude of me to say that, but I know young people who are addicted to weed and either won't admit it or they do admit it, and there's nothing that they can do about it. And I'm not even going to get into the conversation on if weed is addictive or not, because yes, it fucking is. It can be psychologically addictive, not physically. Yeah. We've had that conversation a million times. Don't be stupid. But Snoop specifically, he's too old. He's too old. No, he's too old. Dennis, he's almost 60. You know that, right?
I agree with that. And what I was going to say, too, is just that, like, at this point, it's like, I feel as if he stopped smoking weed, it probably would kill him.
It's like that Archer quote, like, I'm afraid if I stop drinking that the cumulative hangover will probably kill me. One of the classic quotes from that show. And honestly, I agree with you. It probably plays true for Snoop Dogg.
I almost feel, too, for him at this point, it's never, like... I mean, maybe it has. I don't know. I don't know nothing about Snoop Doggy Dogg's personal life, but I like to think he's smoked so much weed now to the point where it's just like, it's just part of my thing, where dizzle and dizzle. Like, you know, he's just telling everyone. It's just like, anyone who's ever asked, probably... Like, he just probably tells them, it's like, I've smoked so much now at this point, it's just become part of my daily life. But it's also probably, I think for him, it's become so perfectly entwined with his life that it's not become a problem now. Because if he smoked so much fucking weed that he couldn't get shit done, like commercials and ads and even him streaming at one point, then it would be a problem. But I almost feel like, I think it's just part of that thing where our body does, where it just becomes so acclimatized to something that it just eventually, it's like, it just kind of accepts that, okay, this is just another part of our routine, you know? Like, the body's all like, I guess
adaptive, sort of?
It's adaptive, and it's just kind of like, our bodies are nothing but habits at one point, at a certain point, you know? Like, we all just kind of get used to doing a certain thing, and it's just like, the more we do it, the more we get used to it, I guess. For a body, it's like, it usually doesn't like foreign shit in us, or even us inhaling it and exhaling it. But at one point, it's just like, you know, I say that our bodies don't like that kind of stuff usually, but I've met and heard about people who've had grandparents who are 80 plus who drink a fuck ton and then smoke a fuck ton and they're still living. They're still 85. And like there's no lung cancer, no nothing, no liver. I mean, there probably is like liver problems, but like, I mean, at that point, it's just kind of like, I guess like a lot of people who are like big health nuts, I guess. And I'm not saying like, being a health nut is like a bad thing, but it's just more like, you think you know everything about health, but then you meet these people, and it's just kind of like, well, I just don't know fucking anything now. Then because like you thought like, oh, they'd be dead by 60, but no, they're like fine.
It's kind of like anorexia in a sense, and it's one of the dangerous things about anorexia. The fucked up thing about anorexia, right, is that when usually a woman, like no disrespect, stops eating. Because like, oh, I want to be thin, whatever, blah blah blah, and they start barfing and doing that shit. They're doing it for like an artificial reason, a superficial reason, because they want to look like their favorite Instagram model or whatever, blah blah blah.
I want to look like Kim K or Taylor Swift. Like, I want to look like that.
Which doesn't even make any sense. She's got so much meat. Well, I guess it's plastic. Never mind.
Taylor Swift, she's got a bit more meat on her now compared to how she was a couple years ago.
I'm sure she's got like dietitians and stuff and like nutritionists on hand who like tell her exactly what to do.
Because she has an image to keep up too. She can't show up fat like Adele one day. She can't do that. She can't do that. I'm even saying it as like an Asian would. You can't do that.
Yeah. I suppose that's true. I mean, Adele's a diva, so she gets away with it.
Adele's skinny. Adele's also skinny now too. Yeah, she also realized it. I can't look like this.
Which portrays the image of the diva. Like they're supposed to be fat. Which kind of sucks. Like Aretha Franklin and stuff. Like they're kind of supposed to be like larger, but it's whatever.
Like some people have worked it, but
yeah, like obviously it's their body. Like do whatever they want. But the point is, like, I'm comparing the anorexia thing to the fucking Snoop, because the fucked up thing about anorexia is that like you're conditioning your body to tell you like, oh, I want to be thinner and blah blah blah, so you're not eating food, and the body's natural response to that from a survival instinct. Or for a survival endpoint. I had a fucking Joe Biden moment there, sorry. From a survival endpoint is that the body thinks, I do not have access to food. I'm in a place where there's no food. And when that happens, your body literally goes into a survival mode where it makes you function on less food. So now, instead of your body mentally rejecting the food like you were to get, like, because you think I'm going to get fat or whatever, I'm not going to look like my favorite Instagram model. The fucked up mental thing about anorexia is that it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because now your body starts to physically reject that food because it thinks, I don't have access to food, so I'm going to make it so there's less food to survive. Kind of like you're giving yourself a little mini gastric bypass. So those mental like connotations that come with anorexia, they become true. So part of me wonders if you smoke so much goddamn danky-panky fucking weed for so long to the point where you stop doing it, there is a part of me that genuinely does think the cumulative hangover will literally be the end of Snoop.
It would not be a hangover. Don't know. The withdrawal would be insane. Like, I think it would be... I know people, and especially in television, like, we've seen how people portray like withdrawal symptoms for like, anything, and like just the fucking like internal like war they're having with themselves. Like they're sweating cold sweat and everything. Like it just, I figured depending on what it is, it could be that bad. I'm not saying that it's like that for everybody. Like withdrawal is still withdrawal. Like it fucking sucks, and especially if you're like if you are dependent on like a certain substance. Like, of course, like, you like tell a crackhead like to not smoke crack, and he's trying to be like, off the shit for like a week. It starts to hit him like really fucking bad. And I'm no doctor, and I'm assuming there is probably like a mix of like chemical and mental sort of kind of reasons like as to why like that all that happens.
Whatever like, the CIA put in that shit.
Or whatever the CIA put in that shit. But like, at the end of the day, it's just kind of like I said, and we're all like, I said it before, we're all creatures of habit. And, like, we're even molded, like, our bodies in a way, like, chemically even in a way, I feel as if are even molded by those habits. And if we stop doing one, like, whether it is good or bad, there's some side effects to it. Like, it's not I'm not saying it's the same thing, but at least, you know, for a thing like going to the gym, right? There have been days where, like, I just haven't gone. Like, I usually try to go three times a week. If I don't go to one day, like, I just skip the day, I feel like shit. And I think that's like a mental thing, not really like a, you know, internal body sort of thing. But, like, you know, again, like, it's just the thing with habits. It's like making them and everything is like, it is so important, and it is hard to kind of solidify it even in a way, because everyone's kind of like, even for, let's say, like a positive thing, not really, I mean, I'm not going to say like smoking weed isn't a positive thing. It can be, but let's just say for a wholly positive thing, like let's say just going to the gym or even just taking a walk outside your house or something, like you're trying to do it like every maybe like 3 times a week or whatever. Like, it's hard to keep it is what I'm saying too. Like, you could say, people say it all the time, like, oh, I'm going to start going to the gym. Like, you know, I'm going to start tomorrow. And they start tomorrow. They did go one day, and it's like, you kind of clap. But you're going to go again the next day. Like,
that's the hardest part.
Yeah, keeping the habit. Like,
yeah.
And that's the thing. That's why I'm saying, like, habits are like, they go both ways, because the moment you do something that's, let's say, like highly addictive mentally and even chemically, we love that. Like, you know, our I guess our inner self is like just like loving that shit. Like, it's just like, oh yeah, like, let's keep doing it there. Like, it's great. Like, we've got to fucking keep doing it. But when it comes to, like, let's say shit that actually is good for you, like going to the gym or even just exercising, our brain just like is such a pussy that like it tells us like, yeah, you did it. And then like the next day comes around and you're like, I don't want to go. Like, it's just.
I went to the gym last night. And so I'm a little sore today because I haven't gotten the chance to go because I work too much, unfortunately, as of right now. And I went because I knew I would not be able to go today because I have to record DDE tonight. Tomorrow's my sister's birthday dinner. Yeah. Saturday, my gym closes at 5 and I have to work. And then Sunday, I have to work all day too. So, like, I went and I forced myself because my body aches bad on Wednesdays for some reason. Like, Wednesdays specifically. I don't know why. And, yeah. I know that's like an artificial thing, but, you know, sometimes you just got to force yourself. You know, like, I feel like I'm breaking back into the habit of the gym every time now because of how little time I have to go. And I'll tell anybody who's, like, about to start going, like, motivation is overrated.
No, yeah.
Habits are
you cannot rely on it.
You cannot rely on it. You just have to force yourself the first couple of times, and then your body is going to make you want to go. Trust. That's how it works.
I look like I have no arms. I'm just like, eh.
You look like a fucking who down in Whoville.
I look comical as fuck. I'm just like, I literally have my legs right now on my seat. I'm just kind of like, eh.
You look like the Asian Miss Chokes on Dick. Like, your titties are just like rolling on the fucking ground.
I can't. You know, I like to think Matt and Trey probably had a teacher in their life that looked just like that, and they're like, man, fuck this bitch. Like, they just like said like, yeah, fuck you. And they just drew her that way, and then that's how she turned out.
Probably. But yeah, no, you literally look like a who down in Whoville.
I don't have that stupid nose though. I hate their nose.
Song, that song, by the way, which like. You're a mean one.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Grinch.
Yeah.
That song is the original diss track.
TBH, yeah.
Like, I never even realized that. That song was a diss track before diss tracks were a thing.
You know who's one person who I thought...
It's literally a song about how much of a fucking piece of shit this guy is. The whole time. I'm like, dude, Boris Karloff, he says some pretty fucked up shit.
Yeah, he does.
In that song. He's like, I wouldn't want to touch you with a 39.5 foot pole.
The little is like such a like cherry on top of way of punctuating that fucking line.
Yeah.
Like, it's so funny too, because like I just thought in my head, like, you know who I thought like would probably make a diss track of like all the people he hates? I honestly thought, like, looking through some of Sinatra's music, it's a lot of, like, none of his music is about hating people. It's just like, I love people, I love myself, I love the women, I love, like, everything, like, you know? Mm-hmm. And imagining that this guy, with his velvety-ass voice, sings a diss track about how much he hates someone, would honestly be, like, I thought, like, he probably could have. I mean, he probably maybe have wanted to. I'm not too sure.
Maybe when the Rat Pack broke up, like, maybe he would just, like, sing a song about how, Bing Crosby fucking beat his wife and shit. Yeah. And, how Dean Martin was a hack. All that shit.
Oh, was he really a hack?
He's just not one of my favorites.
That's fair. I mean, I feel as if out of the three...
And Bing Crosby, I hate. I think he's one of the most overrated fucking artists of all time. And he was an actual piece of shit. He, like, beat his wife and shit. White Christmas is a shit movie. My sister and my father love it for some reason. Me and my mom fucking hate it. And,
it's like, out of the three of them, at least, like, he definitely was just the more of the softy compared to, like, all of them. Like, I don't know, mate. I know Sinatra had his whole mob connections and everything, which everyone, like, loves to bring up and all that. But it's just kind of like... You know, but at the same time, like, you know, if we're going to just separate the artist from the art, like, all of his songs are just, like, all positive shit. I never heard one song that was, like, about a bad anything. He just always loves talking about, like, life and women and fucking everything. Like, you know, he just loves everything.
Which is what makes the Grinch song so interesting, because, like, there weren't... I don't know if there were too many songs, or popular songs, at least. I'm sure there were, like,
about shitting on people.
I'm sure there were, like, some... I'm hanging up. I don't know who that was. Just about shitting on people. And they said some fucked up shit in that song, man. It's like, I think he says he smells like garlic at one point, or that his soul is made of garlic.
Look up.
He says his soul is made of garlic. What else does he say? It's like, the three words that I best use to describe you are as follows, and I quote, stink, stank, stunk. It's like, it's just fucked up, dude. It's like, it feels kind of racist too. It's like, is that because he's green? Like, can we just be honest for a second? Like, is that because he's green?
You know, it makes you think, like, what if the Grinch actually did try to give Christmas a chance, but then everyone just called him, like, a greener and told him to get the fuck out of here? And, like, you know, he just, like, said, fuck you guys, I'm gonna go home on my mountain and sulk. I'm surprised
they didn't do that in, like, the fucking, like, like that horrible live action Grinch remake.
They kind of did. Like, you're different. Get out of here.
All the jokes that they make in that fucking movie, like the swinger thing, where like
that movie was horny as hell.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
It's pretty weird.
And they're all putting their keys inside, like, the bowl, like, for, like, them to take the different wives home at the end of the night, like the swinger party that they go to and shit. I'm surprised they didn't make a joke calling the Grinch, like, a dirty-ass greener. I'm surprised they didn't do that, man.
Yo, it sounds even funnier when you say it. Like, they just fucking... Because, mind you, in that movie...
Like go back to your home on Mount...
Mind you, in that movie, he was like a kid, right? And he got literally, like, fucking ridiculed out of town. He literally got told, get the fuck out of here. But you're fucking greener. Get the fuck out of here.
Like, they made us sympathize with him for some reason. Be like, you know, maybe y'all deserve to have, like, a fucking, like, you know, Grand Theft, like, you know.
Grand Theft Christmas.
Yeah, to have this guy come in and steal literally all of your shit. All that stuff, man.
Your soul is an appalling dump heap. You're a crooked, dirty jockey. And you drive a crooked horse.
They should have replaced that with greener.
You're a 3-decker sauerkraut and toadstool sandwich with arsenic sauce. Bro.
I think they have that at my deli.
It's probably what fucked up your back.
Oh, man. When they say dirty and crooked and say, like, the horse, they should have said greener. Instead, like, you're
overflowing with the most...
You're a dirty, crooked greener, and you drive a crooked horse. Mr. Grinch.
Overflowing with the most disgraceful assortment of deplorable rubbish imaginable, mangled up in a tangled up knots.
Why is reading the lyrics so much funnier than like even hearing them sung?
I like to even...
It's with my boy. I know that's why it's funny, but at the same fucking time, holy shit, this song was pretty fucked up. I wouldn't want to fuck you with a 39.5-foot pole.
Appalling dump heap has gotta be, I think, the funniest one out of all of these. It's just like, it's just basically saying you're a pile of shit. Like,
and you live in a pile of shit.
It's like that scene when Jurassic Park, fucking Malcolm sees a gigantic pile of shit. And it's such like a nothing line, I know, but it's just so funny, his delivery of that line. Because he fucking literally takes off his glasses and he puts them away. And it just goes like, well, that is one big pile of shit. I still use that sometimes, like, as a meme.
You know, in the movie, it's racism too. Because Cindy Lou Who comes to save the Grinch, she comes to visit him thinking he was sad and stuff like that. She's the only one who's nice to him, and she's a child. Her racism hasn't developed yet.
She never brings up, like, why are you green? Like, you know, somehow some kids, like,
you're right!
Some kids, like, straight up will ask a person, because it goes both ways. Like, sometimes kids are capable of extreme kindness, and sometimes they're just, not even, like, that's not that hatred in their hearts. It's just that, like, they have no filter, you know? But not once did she ever ask, like, why are you green? Like, you know, no, it's like the same as, like, when you go into a black person and say, like, why are you black? Like, it's the same fucking thing.
That, like, Madagascar Melman meme that went around. Why are you black? Why are you white? Oh, there's this, the Spider-Man one was the one that said, why are you white? Oh, my bad. Like, why are you white? And, like, she never asked, like, the one green motherfucker that lives within, like, you know, a fucking 25-mile radius, why are you green? Like, what happened to you? If anything, that should have been the lore that they explained in the movie. Why the fuck he's green, and why he's the only green one, like, nearby. I mean, I guess the whole thing with Dr. Seuss is that, like, he invents creatures and whatnot, like the Lorax. You never see another Lorax.
That's true, yeah.
You know, and you assume he's the only one. Like, I speak for the trees, because the trees have no tongues, and if they did, I would tongue the trees, because I love the trees so much. Danny DeVito, by the way, in that remastered movie, they got Danny DeVito to be the fucking Lorax in that movie. And I never saw the Illumination one that they released last year, or a couple of years ago, whenever they did that, because I forgot Illumination made a Grinch movie, like an animated one.
We forgot Illumination made a lot of shit, TBH.
Oh, by the way, in my stores that I visit, you know what's on the Switch now?
What?
There's a Grinch game.
It's recent?
Yeah, it came out like a couple of weeks ago. There's a Grinch video game on the Switch.
I have like the most like disapproving Asian scowl when I heard that. I was just kind of like, what? Hang on a sec. Grinch
man.
Game Switch. Let's see what it's got on Metacritic.
What does it have on Metacritic? It's like a $40 game. I'm very curious.
Let me see. Metacritic. Is it The Grinch, The Christmas Adventures?
Yes.
To be decided. No user score or even Metacritics.
Do we know anyone in the world who has played this game?
Other than, I guess, three reviewers. One gave it an 80.
Yo, please tell me. Hold up. Please tell me, for the good love of God, Dennis, one of the reviews says, the 3 words that I can use to best describe this game are as follows, and I quote, stink, stank, stunk. Please tell me that.
Unfortunately, no.
Okay, I didn't even play the game, but I'm tempted to make a Metacritic account and just go in there and like drop that as the review just for the laughs. You
know what's so funny though? I'm seeing on at least Target, Walmart, and GameStop, they're because they go by 5, their reviews, like their review scale. They're giving it a 4.2 to 4.5 out of 5. Like, I've never seen like another IP's like game made from another IP like ever score that high. Like I mean it looks alright, I guess. Like people are saying it's great, it's fun, like it's I mean
It actually doesn't look that bad. I expected the graphics or whatever to look like shit. I'm looking at a little bit of gameplay. It actually looks really nice.
Does it remind you of
Looking at the Steam page right now.
And I like how they also kept his look. I can't believe we're actually going into the fucking Grinch, like the Grinch video game.
The Grinch game. It has 10 reviews on Steam.
Is it good reviews?
Let's find out. First one, not recommended. This game is bad. It's profoundly overpriced and feels like a mobile game turned cash grab. Ugh. I normally tend to do 3 pros and 3 cons, but not in good conscience can provide any form of positive note for this game. And here's a positive review. The bizarre story of a green...
Is he actually say greener?
No, he doesn't say greener, unfortunately. He says the bizarre story of a green yeti that terrorized a small alpine village nearly 70 years ago on Christmas Day. Facts are few and hard to verify. The yeti itself is believed to have displayed incredible feats of strength. Oh my god, this is golden. The yeti is writing it like a fucking nature review.
Sounds like a cryptozoologist.
Facts are few and hard to verify.
Oh, yeah, sounds just like a cryptozoologist.
The yeti itself is believed... Like, why does he keep calling him a yeti? He's fucking green.
Oh, I'm reading it.
Okay. The yeti itself is believed to have displayed incredible feats of strength, an insatiable hoarding disorder, and the ability to impersonate celebrities. It was also said to travel in the company of a Eurasian wolf. Oh my god, this is like the funniest thing I've ever read. In one of her last interviews before her passing in July of 2000, I can't read this without laughing. In one of her last interviews before her passing in July of 2000, surviving witness Cynthia Louiho claimed the creature died from a cardiac event during her confrontation with it in her home. Supposedly verified by an autopsy performed by the village doctor, who notes claimed the creature's heart had swollen to more than twice its normal size. Oh my god! Other past testimonies differ wildly, with everything from the villagers actually befriending the Yeti to consuming it on Christmas Day, the latter giving birth to the term roast beast. In the end, whether these events occurred or not, something happened in this quiet mountain town, and few tales chilled the blood during the winter holidays as this one. Oh my god. That was one of the greatest video game reviews I have ever read in my life.
7 people found this review helpful.
No, motherfucker, 8 did, because I have to log in.
Okay.
I'm on the Steam website.
I'm gonna give this guy an award.
Literally remind me later to fucking do that. Edit. The game based on this legend is actually quite good. Beautiful graphics, old school sensibilities, and some really nice bonus materials, including the original book and handwritten materials from the good Dr. Seuss himself.
You know, you read all that, right? There's this one review down in the bottom that says, I never had less fun playing a video game. Would recommend.
I just scrolled down to it. As soon as you said that. Oh my god. That was so fucking funny.
You know, overall, it's not a bad game.
Doesn't seem like it, no.
Yeah, like, we've seen worse, you know? Like, we've seen much worse.
Oh my god, why you kept calling him a Yeti?
It's like a side-scroller. It looks fun. It looks alright. Like, it's not a bad game.
Side-scroller, DARPG, RARPG, Doba, MOBA, Floba, MOBA.
It could be worse.
First-person Grinch.
I always say it could be worse. It could be Cyberpunk.
Yeah. Okay, so what were we talking about before? It was that fucking Smasher thing. Okay, I asked you how you felt about a 19-year-old dating a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
And you said, like, context is important or something, and you said, like, you're treading a fine line, but, like, real talk, like, a freshman in college dating, like, a junior in high school is not...
It's whatever. It's whatever. Like,
I, for the most part, feel the same way. But there were just a lot... the reason I saw it is because there was a Smasher that I know who I've since unfollowed because, like, I don't want to see fucking dumbass Smash drama or whatever, like... some shit like that on my feed, or people thinking they're heroes by, like, reposting something on Twitter and this being like, this is bad, and stuff. I don't need that shit in my life. He reposted that saying like, oh, if we don't speak up against these things, I can't believe the Smash community is so bad that they're not speaking out against this, blah, blah, blah. Because like most of the people in the comments were like talking to the Smasher and they're like, dude, why did you make a statement about this? Why did you feel pressured to do this? There was literally nothing here. You're 19 and you were dating a 17-year-old. That is fucking nothing. That is actually so unserious.
Yeah, it really is. Like, if I was friends with this guy, I'd tell him straight up. It's like, bro, like, you don't need to say anything. Why?
And I noticed that I feel like so much of the emotional immaturity comes from the people who are freaking out about it and equating this guy to actual fucking legit pedophiles with huge age differences and people who want to, like, fuck teenagers and shit. And, like, I don't understand. It pissed me off so much the other day. I was just sitting in my car reading it, and I know it's just like same old, like, oh boy, you know, the double D's, like, complaining about the Twitter morality police again, but it's like, I can't help it, dude. These kids are so fucking stupid.
Well, I mean, yeah. We've known that for a long time. I mean, we're never going to stop shitting on them, because they're just always going to be like this. Like, dude, virtue signaling is so easy to do. Like, and there's no consequences to it. Like, as much as we love to shit on it, the world at large never says, like, oh, shut the fuck up with your virtue signaling. Like, no one ever actually says it. Like, because it's like everyone else kind of feels as if, oh, I have to also be on that train too, because if I'm not, then I look like the pedophile.
And another thing, by the way, if you're going even by laws or whatever, which, you know, a lot of these kids claim to understand and they fucking don't.
They don't.
They know
the law by TikTok.
It is like, also not illegal. Know. It is literally not illegal. The thing is, when there's a certain age difference, I believe that's 3 years, actually, when there's an age difference, and, like, if you're dating when you're teenagers, right? One of them gets older, and, like, you know, they become 18. The law is not, you magically become a pedophile. Like, the second you turn 18. That's literally not how that works. At all. Like, it's straight up not. The actual law is that when there's an age difference like that and one of them grows into legal adult territory, if the parents consent to it, it is legal. That's actually the law. Like when the parents are still in charge of their child who is a minor, if they consent to it when there's that maximum age difference, when one of them outgrows the other, that's actually fine. If the parents consent to it. I gotta keep it a buck with you. When I was a senior in high school, my first girlfriend was a freshman, actually.
There you go!
I turned 18 while we were dating. We stopped talking because, like, we just never talked anymore. She was, like, you know, it was the summer. Like, she wanted to break up with me, but, like, she just waited a long time to do it. We never spoke to each other. Basically, the relationship just dwindled. In the time that I turned 18 to when she broke up with me, like, 3 days before Christmas, even though I wasn't even speaking to her, and we didn't do anything, did I magically become a pedophile? Because I turned 18? If you think, even though we didn't even do nothing, if you think yes, you're a fucking retard. Like, genuinely. And I don't use that word lightly. I actually don't even like to use, it's a funny term still, but I don't even like to use that term for the PC principles or whatever. You're a fucking retard. Like, oh, stop. That is literally not how that works. These are probably the same fucking people who, like, canceled Call Me Carson when that shit went down, because it was the same thing. Call Me Carson was 19 and he was talking to a 17-year-old, like it was one of his fans. That's the reason he got canceled. Do you remember that video I sent you of, like,
I look like John Travolta. I'm like,
you remember that video I sent you of Mr. Incredible, like, at the Kronos computer, and instead of, like, all like the superheroes, it's all the YouTubers who got canceled
over the dumbest shit.
And the music's just playing, like, and when it gets to Call Me Carson, that's when he puts, like, his hand in his head and he's like no. And, like, I didn't even watch Call Me Carson. I didn't even care about him or even knew who he was until, like, the drama with him happened. But the fact that dude actually, I don't know why he never came back. I really don't know why he never came back to make videos, because he was actually even, like, critical, and, like, the people on the official podcast and stuff were like, yeah, he got canceled for no fucking reason. Like, actually none. And it's just makes me think about the actual, like, emotional maturity of the people who do that kind of stuff. It's like, do you actually understand what you're talking about? Or are you
mean the lack thereof?
Yeah, like, or are you just trying to look good? Because if you actually equate, like, a 2-year age difference, holy fuck, a fucking 2-year fucking age difference between two consenting people, to, like, a fucking 35-year-old trying to get with a 17-year-old. If your brain genuinely lacks that nuance, you have no fucking right to speak on those issues.
Twitter ain't a real place.
Like, oh my God.
It never will be.
I literally unfollowed people I knew because of that shit. Because I'm just like, I full stop. I think you're a moron. And I wish I could talk to them about it, but you can't say that on Twitter, otherwise you look bad. Or, like, I could DM them, I guess, but I don't care enough to do that. I didn't even read this fucking Smasher statement because it's a Smasher statement. Like, I'm sure it was
probably not well written anyways.
Yeah, I'm sure it was about some dumbass shit or whatever. Judging by everything I've seen, like, everybody's like, dude, it's not a big deal. Full stop. If we're complaining about 2-year age differences now, then the Chinese bioweapon of TikTok really is fucking working on our society, which I think we all know that it is, but still. At the same time, I know I sound really red-pilled right now, but I'm sorry. Like, there's certain aspects of that side that is just completely true, and this is one of those cases. If you fucking think that a 19-year-old dating a 17-year-old is the same thing as a grown-ass adult preying on teenagers, I don't know what to tell you. I really just fucking don't. That happens so much more often than you think. Couples date in high school and then one of them turns 18. You think the second they turn 18, they're like looking at the fucking like birth clock and like their birth certificate at like what time they fucking like popped out of their mom's fucking like womb, and then they're just like pedo. It's like there's actual fucking criminals you could be.
Or it's like the FBI, open up.
Like these are honestly probably the same people who tried to cancel Danny Sexbang when that shit came out, when he was fucking a grown ass woman when she was 23. It's like,
you know what's so funny too,
or 21, however old she was.
I think a lot of online personas, or like a lot of just I guess online personalities, I guess, I think a lot of them are starting to now realize is that our fans are our fans and they'll love us when they love us, but they'll also hate us when they hate us. And like, at least for cases like this, it's like you will always see more people pointing the finger at you more than actually defending you. And I also just think that's like it's just a symptom of like just the way like online discussions are nowadays, where it's just like the moment you're outed as like, you know, let's say a pedophile or even a potential one, it's just like, well, it's time to take out the pitchforks and torches and like, you know, time to crucify this person, like, you know, online, and like just cancel the shit out of them, even though like, you know, we're not even gonna like wait to hear any statement from them about like the whole thing, even if like the writing is already on the wall. And it's just like, you know, in this case, a 19-year-old dating a 17-year-old, it's like, okay, like who actually gives a fuck? Like, why do you give a fuck, TBH? Like, you know, everyone thinks they're like the moral police whenever like they're online and like they see shit like this. And it's also the reason why, like, you know, it's so funny because like I recently just got Facebook Messenger because like I'm in a group chat with a bunch of friends and like they use Facebook Messenger, so like I'm on there. Yeah. And like I had to make another Facebook account because like, you know, it was a requirement.
Can I please be your only friend on the Facebook account?
I have like 4 friends who were trying to like become friends with me on Facebook, but I made it like a moral point that I'm not ever gonna be on that shit, period.
Can you accept me just for the meme? Can I please be your only friend on Twitter? I mean, not Twitter, on Facebook. It'd be funny. Come on.
Okay, fine. But like,
you don't have to let me peer pressure you, but let me peer pressure you.
My whole point is,
let me peer pressure you like these fucking dumbass smashers who love drama and rumors and shit. Peer pressured this guy into making a statement about absolutely nothing.
No, that's just cyberbullying. And then if it's cyberbullying, I just close the laptop.
Yeah. By the way, the overwhelming majority of people in his comments are like, dude, why'd you make a statement about this? Everyone's like, dude, the fact that you got pressured into making a statement about this is fucking ridiculous and proves to me that smashers literally do gossip more than fucking hairdressers at a goddamn hair salon. It is so bad. And they do it to me sometimes too. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Stop fucking talking to me about this. I'm fucking 27 years old. Go fuck yourself. I don't care about your dumbass, petty little fucking teenage wannabe problems. Like, fuck out of my face with that shit, please.
Another thing is that when it comes to a lot of this stuff, people feel as if they have to say something. And I don't know, but for this guy in particular who like released a statement, it's like I tell him,
which I did not read, by the way. That's why I'm not even going into detail about it. Because like, I don't give a fuck. Like it just says like I'm sorry, and then it's like one of those big like, you know, text posts or whatever, and I'm like, I don't care enough about you to read this.
Yeah.
Or, like, it's fucking Smash Drama, which is like literally the most meaningless fucking shit in the world that I'm supposed to care about this because I used to commentate tournaments for this fucking video game. Like, okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Like, I literally do not give a fuck. Like, most of the people I know don't even make comments on that shit. It's just a bunch of random people that I don't even know.
Because they end up forgetting about it anyways.
Yeah.
After like 2 days, they're gonna like you got.
I literally cannot believe this guy was pressured to make a statement about this.
So
like
dumb.
that goes to
So
show the
dumb.
emotional. I will never forget when like it was one of my favorite stories on the official podcast. I think I told it before, where Charlie and Kaya were in a call with Leafy.
Kaya's his girl, right?
No, Kaya's a man.
What?
Kaya's one of the 4 dudes on the official podcast.
Kaya, you got a girly ass fucking name, man.
He's Turkish.
Still a girly ass fucking name, man.
Oh my god. He would be your favorite on that show, probably.
Your
maybe.
dad couldn't name you Selim or something? Jesus Christ.
Okay, wow. His girly name aside, I guess. Wow.
I don't even know you, Kaya.
It's fucking around.
Sounds like a cool name.
They were in a call with Leafy, and like there was like Leafy was talking with this other like bitch ass like the fucking lame YouTuber like.
I remember Leafy.
YouTuber.
I remember.
Yeah, and they were talking like with Charlie, and like he kept calling Charlie critical. He kept calling him critical over and over again. He kept saying, wait, critical, what about this? And they're just like, he's talking with this other YouTuber while Charlie and Kaya are in the call about methodically how he was going to cancel Keemstar. Like how he was going to try to do that. Because you remember Leafy like had a whole brigade against Keemstar for a while.
Yeah, I remember
I'm just
that.
telling you right now, the actual emotional maturity of these people, like they are not real humans.
No.
So those drama YouTubers, they're legitimately not real fucking people. They are the least talented and quite frankly least important human beings on the face of this fucking planet. The fact that he keeps calling him by his fucking tag instead of by his name,
YouTube name,
it goes to show the world he lives in. You know, this is just his sphere. You know, like his whole life is dedicated to this shit about canceling people or whatever. Like he's not a real person. Like it goes to show the emotional maturity of these fucking people is terrible. And the fact that there are kids who look up to them is just something insane. Point is, it's like, you know, a lot of these people are not fucking real. That's the way I phrase them. And the fact that, like, you know, kids have just unsupervised access to, like, you know, these fucking social spheres and, like, these circles where, like, they get caught up in this winded action. Like, I'm too old to fucking give a shit about any of that fucking stuff.
Yeah, of course.
The only reason I'm talking about it is because it pisses me off that people actually feel like this kid felt like he needed to make a statement, and people are actually thinking it's a big deal of a 2-year age gap between 19 and 17. It really lets me know the fucking China virus is working of TikTok. And like it's actually getting into these fucking people's heads that you're equating that shit to pedophilia. At this point, I think it's like a plant to make pedophiles like, you know, like from pedophiles to make them seem normal. You know what I mean? Like be like, oh, we're going to normalize this like between 19 and 17-year-olds. It's not a big deal. And people are going to get on our side saying it's not a big deal. And eventually they'll work their way up to us.
They'll join the ranks of the pedophiles.
Yeah, maps are legit. See, like I swear to God, it's like, God, the fucking slacktivism, man. Which, by the way, is the sociological term, by the way. It's called slacktivism. When, like, people just retweet shit on social media saying this is wrong and they think they're heroes because of it. And yet they don't do any actual, like, work as to, like, changing things and whatnot.
No, of course not.
It's called slacktivism, yeah.
It's the status quo and they want to keep it.
Yep. It's just fucking... I had to vent about that for a little bit, honestly. That's all I'm going off on here. I'm pretty much done. But, like, my God.
Guys, if you're a virtue signaler, grow the fuck up. Please. For the love of God. The world does not need more virtue signalers. They need less of you, quite frankly. Like, all the dumb shit that you guys say online is gonna be there forever. And you'll and I'll guarantee you, like, for all the shit that you virtue signaled on, you'll not even remember as to why you did it in the first place. I guarantee you are not going to remember why you even did it in the first place. Like, because, frankly, I truly feel like most people don't care about a lot of things online. I think that's, like, to like, if we're going to strip down everything, like, that's who they are, actually. Most people don't give a lot of fucks about a lot of shit online. Like, when the whole Israel and, you know, Hamas war like started like, you know, a weeks back, and even like, you know, going towards the Ukraine war, like I'm gonna be real. When I've read that, like, sounds terrible to say, but I personally just had no stakes in it. Like, when I read it as just a bit of news. And maybe people could even construe it in a way where it's just like, oh, like, you know, that's just the way, like, you're just dead inside because, like, you know, that's just kind of how everyone is reading the news. And okay, yeah, maybe fair enough. But, like, I wasn't out here trying to say, like, oh, yeah, like, you know, support Israel or support Ukraine or, yeah, whatever, like, thing. You know, personally for me, it's just kind of like, it has nothing to do with me, so I'm not going to say nothing about it. But there be mad people who read up about even lesser things than that, and they just feel as if, like, oh, I have to say something.
Not to
for
mention,
the sake of saying something.
Not to mention the selective nature of it as well.
That as well.
Because the hypocrisy is crazy. I'm not going to say who it is, Dennis. There is a Smash player, it's kind of a prominent one actually, who started dating her boyfriend when her boyfriend was 24.
Okay.
She was 14. Still together, by the way. And they've been confronted about it before, and they try to convince people they weren't groomed and stuff. That's fine. And another top player who was 17 started dating his girlfriend when she was 22. And the support for her when she admitted that shit, and the only reason she did is because people were coming at her for it during the June 2020 or July 2020, the reckoning of the Smash community. And I don't know if it's because they were popular or whatever and people still were coming at them for it. Not that I'm saying, like, oh, you should get canceled or whatever. Like, I have no stake in it. But the point is I'm saying is that the selective support, maybe it's really not about, you know, what's actually morally correct, and maybe it's more so about who you like.
Whoever the bandwagon is. And whoever, like, bandwagon you're going to be on, like, throughout that whole shit. And again, like, I'm not out here, like, putting up, like, you know, Israeli flags on my profile pic or, like, fucking Ukrainian flags on my profile pic. Like, you know, I'm not, like, screaming to the fucking rooftops, like, you know, saying, like, down with this person or down with that. Like,
to everyone on Twitter, you know your parents have an age gap, right? They weren't born at the exact same fucking time. They didn't pop out of each of their individual moms at the same fucking time, which would actually be weirder than them having an age gap. And I'm not trying to defend all age gaps. Some of them are cringe. Absolutely, they're cringe. And you can say they're cringe or whatever. But also, sometimes I feel you gotta let, like, certain people live. And there could be cringe because, like, you know, they're in two very different places in life. That happened with me with my my girlfriend as well. I was 22, dating a 32-year-old. And it was fucking awesome. For the most part, you know, besides the fact that we weren't besides the fact that we eventually weren't compatible, because obviously she was gay and, like, you know, like repressed her sexuality
she
the
was
whole
gay
time.
as fuck.
She was fucking gay. Fuck, bro, fucking gay as fuck. But, like, there's context to everything, man, and, like, the fact that Twitter is what controls these narratives now, like, gives me an existential crisis on a level previously untouched by man. It's like.
So dramatic.
Like, I see, like, two different whole things where people are like, don't have a relationship with kids, it's not normal, 15 years old, barely started high school when they're, like, fucking 17 or whatever, or, like, 18 or some shit. And then there's a lot of people the other end of the spectrum saying 2-year age gap, not a fucking big deal. I just don't understand it. People saying this is a significant difference in maturity, it's like there's so many different takes on it, and it's like, ugh, I don't understand, man. It's just it's just dumb.
We're gonna wrap it up here. My closing thoughts on this whole shit.
Like, if you don't have enough real world experience, why are you fucking, like,
even saying anything? And on top of that, I'm also just gonna add, stay the fuck away from Twitter. Twitter is probably worse than cancer for you and your health. Like
at least chemotherapy can shrink the fucking tumor. Nothing shrinks the Twitter tumor besides just logging off.
Twitter, all it does is create aneurysms in your brain that are eventually just going to pop and you're going to die. Like, this is a PSA from these two idiots from Jersey. Stay the fuck away from Twitter. Unless you're following us on twitter.com/WDExperience. Hey. But, essentially, virtue signaling is gay as hell. Actually,
for lack of a better term?
No, actually, well, no. I wanted to say, like, virtue signaling is retarded. Like,
There you go. That's better. That's a lot better. Sure.
I was gonna. If I had a friend who was like a virtue signaler, I'd just probably give him like that Robert Downey Jr. line from Tropic Thunder. It's like, you went full retard, man. Never go full retard. I still love that movie. Oh my god, we're not ready. We could never make that movie again.
Hell no.
That movie was so fucking good. Like I watched it again with my girlfriend, and we even like we were dying on some parts. Like it was just so good.
That movie's hysterical.
Robert Downey Jr. was blackface. Guys, remember that? And how almost none of you know what's so funny? He like the people asked other black people about like how do you feel that Robert Downey Jr. was blackface in that movie, and most of them don't give a shit.
Dude, it's the same thing.
Liked it.
It's the same thing as all the white people trying to cancel Speedy Gonzalez, when in fact, and spoken by Gabriel Iglesias, the top Mohican.
The leader
spoken by him, that in fact, back when he was a kid, he was the only form of representation they had.
Because everyone else who ever made a Mexican in cartoons back then, it was always like a terrible stereotype. Every one of them. He's like probably the only one at that point that was even a positive, like, a caricature of themselves.
Yep. And then the white people try to cancel him because they say it's inappropriate. The same people who try to force Latinx. It really goes to show, like, why people actually do these things and why they say it. Maybe it's not about actually making good social change. Maybe they just want to fucking look good.
I love how like also, like, just the collective...
Maybe. I don't know.
Like, the collectiveness of Latin America all just kind of banded together and say, no, you're fucking dumb and do not ever push that shit to us ever
There's
again.
almost nothing in this world that pissed me off more than Latinx. I'm saying that as a Cuban man.
Yeah.
The letter X is literally not even in, like, the fucking Spanish lexicon. In that way.
Yeah.
It is straight up the definition of cultural appropriation. They are doing the very thing that they claim to be against, but they don't even realize it. Again, because they're so focused on looking good and trying to just play to their fucking, like, dumbass little, like, girl and boy groups that they don't even care about what they're actually doing.
No, of course not.
But we're at the hour mark, and I gotta work today, and then I gotta pick up my sister at the train station when she gets back. I gotta go. Snuggies all around. Here are the plugs. Boom, Double D Experience. You can follow us on wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Please subscribe to us wherever you get it. Leave us a 5-star review, which I've seen a couple of you guys doing. It's almost like saying the same thing every week works. Please, it helps us our SEO a lot. Just leave us that quick 5-star review. You can only do it on mobile. It just takes a couple of clicks. Don't even have to write a review because you can't even do that on Spotify. Just bing, bang, boom. Helps with our SEO a lot if you want to help support the podcast. And if you want to help support even more, subscribe at youtube.com/Nintoonist. Leave a like on the video. Comment on the video what you thought about the stuff that we talked about. If you feel the Grinch is a genuine, I don't know, victim of racism, which I guess in the movie he is.
Fucking
but, like,
greener.
He's a fucking greener, dude. You know, in the movie, like, a taxi runs away from him, like, he's trying to hail a taxi, and the taxi runs away from him, and Jim Carrey straight up says, "That's because I'm green, isn't it?" So they knew what they were doing. I just wish they made more greener jokes besides that one. That was funny as shit. I remember even as a kid...
I mean, it was a kid's movie. They can't really throw in the racism in there.
Even as a kid, I thought that was funny as shit when I first saw that. But anyway, subscribe at youtube.com/Nintoonist, and also follow us on X at Double D Pod, and on Instagram at the Double D Experience 21. We love you guys. Please support the podcast wherever you can. We love putting it out every week. Even though, like, I scramble to do it because of how hard I work now, but my job is seasonal, and I'm probably about to be unemployed again real soon anyway, unless I get my shit together. Woo! So if you want to listen to two unemployed losers, click all the links below.
Maybe the cosmic balance will kind of shift where it's like, oh, he's going to become unemployed, and then Dennis will get a job. And then
that's what always happens, man. You already know that's what always happens. Well, we gotta go. We love you guys. I'm gonna give you a kiss. Unless you're green. Ew. Yeah, I fucking hate green people. Ew.
I hate... You know what's one people that I hate more than...
Go back to your trash heap, you fucking... What's the line in the song? Like, you debilitating trash heap? What does he say or some shit?
What's it that one?
Something like that. I don't know. Go back to your trash heap on Mount Fuck It.
Well, I will say, if there's one type of people that I hate more than greeners... I was gonna say, fucking bliggers.
All right. What is that? Like a blue person?
Yeah.
You actually gotta watch that because those are real.
What?
Well, it's an insanely, like, ridiculously rare, skin disease. Be nice to the blue people, Danny. And what about Blue Man Group, you fucking asshole? What about them?
I never liked them.
And what about the song? I'm blue, da ba dee da ba da.
It makes me angry hearing it. What do you want me to say, David? I'm nature versus nurture, and I was nurtured to be racist.
So you don't like bloogers, is what you're saying?
No. But I will make an exception to red people, though. Redders be pretty cool.
I hate Redders more than anyone because it sounds like Reddit. They remind me of Reddit. What the fuck?
It's just always like horny red people. Or like
red I feel like Redders doesn't make sense. It should be called like Red-ons. Or like
Red-on sounds like a fucking chemical.
Oh, I fucking hate Redites. Redites.
Redite?
That sounds like a chemical too.
We're out of here. Fuck you guys.
Yeah, bye.